Okay. Everybody's got their phone out taking pictures of this very recorded live event. It's nice.
Welcome, you guys.
Hey, Ray. How are you?
Doing well. How about you guys?
Doing great.
We're great.
We made it here. We're here.
We made it. Yeah.
So as you guys saw, that was a clip from the new season, season 4, and you guys are currently working on more episodes from the season.
Yes.
Is that correct? Yeah.
This is by far the biggest season we've ever attempted. It's 21 episodes.
Yep. Well, 22.
22. There's a best of.
There's a best of. Yep. And it's a split season, so we figured that we would do like they do with all the dramas, like Breaking Bad and stuff. That we'll give you a whole bunch, and then a break, and then a whole bunch more. So yeah.
That's crazy. And you guys, between promoting the new season and then filming the rest of the second half of the 4th season, you've also got many other projects going on right now.
Yes.
Do you guys want to talk about some of those? You've got Van Devon and Mike are having an animated
Van Davian and Mike.
Van Davian, sorry.
Yes. This is a cartoon for Comedy Central that's in the very beginning stages. They very much still have the right to say, no, we're not actually going to do this. But a couple of our characters, I should say, a couple of characters who are fans of our show, Van Davian and Mike, have campaigned to write and work for our show. We've had brief experiences with them, but now there is a cartoon based on these gentlemen. But look up their clips on YouTube if you haven't seen Van Davian and Mike. Very interesting fellows.
They're very interesting guys. And fan is an interesting word to use for how these guys think about our show. Sure. They have a vlog where they are constantly telling us that we're not writing comedy correctly.
Right.
And we're not using anywhere near the amount of genitalia that we should be using in sketches. They don't understand how we keep missing these opportunities to put feces and genitalia in our sketches.
Which I take offense because we haven't missed too many opportunities.
Oh no, I think we have a myriad amount of feces and genitalia in our sketches. So I don't know what these guys are talking about.
The cartoon will take place in their middle school years. And
kind of an origin story.
Were they very critical back then as well?
Those guys. It's a contemporary piece. It's kind of like It's kind of like our Fat Albert. You know, there are characters from the Key and Peele universe that may appear in their school, a younger version. So besides honoring these two guys, it's a way for us to further explore the Key and Peele characters.
And since their job is to critique your guys' sketches, maybe it'd be good to talk about how a Key and Peele sketch kind of gets made. Like, how does a typical Key and Peele sketch get put together from start to finish?
Well, there's lots of different ways. Sometimes people just have an idea and they come to work and they have a gleam in their eye and you just see them run into their office and so they're just going to write a sketch. And then other days a person says, I have what we call a nugget or a kernel. Let's say I've just got a nugget of an idea and I just thought, I saw this guy yesterday doing X, Y, and Z. And then everybody else in the room will just start to just riff on that idea or yes and that idea until the writer says, oh, that one, idea number 6, that's the one, I'm going to write a scene about that. And then the other person who came up with the idea doesn't get any credit. But it's a huge groupthink collaborative process. And then sometimes two people will just sit in an office together and start screwing around and then someone just starts typing. So there's a bunch of different ways that the scenes come into being. And then they change and evolve and change over and over and over again. Yeah.
And so in this new season, in between sketches, previously you would wrap them around with audience bits, live comedy in front of audiences, and now you've got you two driving in a car on an anonymous road trip. Where are you guys driving to?
We're going to Comedy Town.
You're going to Comedy Town.
The way we think of it, we're going to the next sketch.
I see.
And the new opening theme and titles to the show is very reminiscent of True Detective,
right.
Some of these high integrity HBO hour-long dramas. But this driving idea, which also kind of conjures True Detective, this was how we originally planned to do the show. This was part of the original pitch. And this year we got to do our dream show. So it much more cohesive to us than the live, bringing the studio audience in, which is kind of like, you know, if I'm watching this at home, I wasn't there. I don't care what someone's laughing at. I want to experience the show on my screen with Key and Peele. That's the world we want to present.
And it feels now to us more like each show is one big piece. Each show is a piece of work as opposed to having a fractured feeling about it.
And so why True Detective for the opening credits sequence? Why
Well, I don't know if you know, the thing about comedy people is comedy people watch a lot of drama. We watch tons. I mean, like our favorite shows are any shows where people are being beheaded or shot. I mean, that's our favorite stuff. Or selling meth to people in New Mexico. So those are our favorite shows. And so True Detective just had this. There's a partnership there. I think that's part of it, is that there's a partnership, and the guys are different from each other. But there's a love that we have. And an interest that we have in kind of deep, dark drama, because we have a pretty dark comedy show at times, you know.
Mm-hmm. A big part of it was trying to come up with, if our show was one of these dramas on a high integrity network, even higher than Comedy Central, what would be the plot of the series? What would it be? And we kind of figured it's two guys driving around, and there's a noir to it because there's so much violence and darkness, but they're somehow detectives, but they're also multiple personalities and also the villains. So that's how we got that's where the idea came. And there's this amazing team called UCO did our opening titles. And you know they've done
tons of
stuff.
I think they did True Blood and stuff. Yeah, they've done. This is what they do, and they were magnificent. They just nailed it.
Well, speaking of duos, Vanity Fair, the latest issue, described you guys as having achieved perfect comedy duo parody. So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh, I didn't
Perfection.
even know we were striving for that. That's so nice to hear.
Early.
Perfect comedy duo parody.
I think the actual quote was perfect comedy parody, but he was speaking.
I got
you guys
parody. I like it.
Parody.
I've got to read this article.
Not parody.
No, parody. Parody. Parity. Yes.
Don't mind if I do.
So what are some of the what are some of the comedy duos you guys look up to? I know Mr. Show's a big one, but
Yes.
what are some of the other ones you've studied, including Mr. Show?
Well, we recently had a little mini binge of Laurel and Hardy.
Yeah, we had to watch some Laurel and Hardy shorts while we were doing doing the Vanity Fair photo shoot. So we replicated an old Laurel and Hardy bit where they had a short where they were on a high rise with girders, and so I was hanging from a girder, and Jordan's trying to pull me back in with a chain. But I can't speak for Jordan, but for me, I'm a huge Hope and Crosby fan, and a Martin. I like old comedy, Martin and Lewis. But I think if the older you get, the more it's closer to kind of what we do. A lot of stuff we do is like Dick and Tom, the Smothers Brothers, and stuff like that. So there's a sensibility that exists with all comedy teams.
Well, our dream team, of course, got to be Pryor Wilder.
Well, Pryor and Wilder,
right?
Well, yeah, Pryor and Wilder's.
Well,
that's the holy grail. Yeah.
If we're writing movies now.
We just don't know who Wilder is yet in this group.
We haven't found.
We're just trying to figure that out.
Well, we're both mixed, so we have some.
So
Pryor
half of me is
someone.
Pryor, half is Wilder, half is Pryor, half is Wilder. There we go.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that would be the dream, would be to someday make a movie that's compared to, or even tossed out as being in the shadow of those guys. True geniuses, yeah.
So you guys were guest editors for Entertainment Weekly's comedy issue recently, and for that issue, I had spoken to Seth Meyers, and he described your guys' East-West Bowl as a sketch that every comedy writer he knows wishes they had written. Like, every comedy writer he knows wishes they had gotten there. Tell me about which sketches do other comedians and other comedy people, which sketches of yours do they love the most, or do you hear about the most?
Wow, this is hard to remain humble answering this question. Which of our sketches is our other comedians' favorites?
Yes. Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't even know what we're talking about here. How would I know?
You know what's big?
I was going to say, I'm sorry. I was going to say insult comedian. The insult comedian sketcher. Jordan plays the burn victim, and I'm the insult comedian.
Do me.
Yeah.
Make fun of me. Yeah.
I mean, other comedians really enjoy that sketch. Those
close to
all
home.
the time. Yeah, so stand-up, and the preponderance has been stand-up comedians. Stand-up comedians like that sketch. Yeah.
People love the Liam Neeson's guys, the valets.
Oh, the valets, yes, yeah.
Yeah, Andy Samberg.
Andy Samberg loves, yeah.
Aziz loves that.
Patton Oswalt loves everything.
He loves everything.
Very, very supportive.
He really loved the Mr. T sketch.
He loved the Mr. T sketch. He loves all the parody sketches, yeah. Who else?
I found out that the slave auction sketch was actually watched on the set of 12 Years a Slave. So
is that true?
That's true.
Where did you hear that?
Chewy told me that.
Who? Chewy told you. He told you that.
He told me that at the Emmys.
Unbelievable. That's like feeding a chicken. It's like.
Yeah.
That's and then there was one other one that I was thinking. Who was? Oh, it's gone. I lost it.
Obama likes Luther.
Right.
Obama likes Luther.
We know that.
I was going to say the comedian in chief.
But he also, he made it very specific, specified, I don't just like the Obama stuff or the me stuff, as it were. Phone call sketch that you guys do. And the very first sketch from the very first episode was this phone call where we're code switching. And it actually kind of relates to this, one that we knew he would get a kick out of, the handshake video as well. But you could tell from very early on, he was kind of relating to the, it's hard for a couple brothers on TV. It's hard, I know.
First thing out of his mouth. That was the first thing he said. Yeah. And remember that then he said the telephone sketch, but he said the sketch where you're buying the theater tickets for your wife. And then I didn't know what he was talking about. And I was like, buying the theater tickets for my wife? He goes, the sketch with the theater tickets. And I went, you mean the telephone sketch? Yeah, the telephone sketch. But so the president is a supporter of the arts. Because that's how he remembered the piece, was as it was the sketch where he was buying theater tickets for his wife. He's so cool.
And what are the sketches you guys hear about most, just like walking down the street, things people yell at you, or like at the restaurants and stuff?
Yeah.
Every day of my life, somebody screams down the street, "Hey, Aaron!" Every day of my life. I like that. I mean, I like that. That's not a bad thing. I'm just like, every day of my life.
You ready to go to war, Balake?
Yeah.
All right.
You want to go to war, Balake? I mean, just random people. I'm sometimes wondering if they're supposed to be in a home and not on the streets. But, so substitute teacher.
Hingle McCringleberry.
Yeah, I get that a lot, too.
I get that.
McCringleberry. And we do, and then sometimes people will just say, someone will walk past you on the street and murmur, Liam Neeson's. They'll just walk, Liam Neeson's. And, that was disturbing, sir. Thank you. Just whisper it in my ear.
We get a lot of noise.
We get a lot of noise, yeah.
Any phrase that we've hammered home into the
pussy
on the chain wax.
That was great, guys. You guys just put the pussy on the chain wax.
Yeah.
Right there. You just did, yeah. Did you see what they just did? I said, you put the pussy on the chain wax, and they went, yeah.
That's why they're here.
That's why they're here.
They were waiting for that
They were waiting for that opportunity to say those words.
Oh, these guys got the shirt, too.
Oh, wow.
See, that's the Comedy Central website. You can get your Jake
You can
Quellen
get that
Balake
shirt if you want.
D-Nice. You can also get some East-West jerseys. Can we just do, 15 minutes of
plugs?
merchandising?
There's going to be bobbleheads. You can get substitute teacher mugs. This is all true.
So you guys pay those two to come to all
those
of your
guys
events.
Well done.
Okay, I'll get you later.
One of the other projects you guys did recently was Fargo. You guys had a multi-episode arc on that, which is obviously kind of a different tone from what you guys usually do. Tell me about that transition from doing a comedy day in and day out and then going to do more serious drama.
It's a lot colder doing drama. A lot colder. Drama, Calgary, the capital
Even
of drama.
if you're doing comedy in Calgary, it's a lot colder.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Yeah.
This was a true honor for us to get to do this, and it fell into our lap. You know, Noah Hawley, the executive producer, creator of the show, was a fan, and he reached out to us, and we had to do it. It was kind of
it was a no-brainer. We were going to do it.
The script is amazing.
Every script you read, you page turners, and I thought, I can't even wait.
Amazing.
Oh, so he's brilliant. Noah Hawley is brilliant. And it was wonderful to do some drama.
I think the big thing for us, and you know, he's a Shakespearean trained actor, so he's, you know, you probably have just an internal dial where you're like, and just subtle, snow walk.
Hey, you go from "Hey lady" to Titus Andronicus. You know, just that's it.
To Titus
Andronicus.
So I think the big part of the challenge, at least in my head, was don't just fight the urge to go for a laugh. That's not how real life is. Just be real, be present. Don't disrupt this beautiful world. And we're very proud of the result.
The outcome, yeah.
And then another project you have coming up is the Police Academy Reboot. You guys are working on that. You're kind of doing behind the scenes, kind of shepherding the production of it, if I understand correctly. Yeah,
we're producing it, and that's still kind of in the embryonic stage. We're kind of in the outline stage right now. So it's more than likely we'll do the majority of our work now. Excuse me, which is making sure that we can mold the tone of the story and how it's going to work and what the arc of the characters will be, and a lot of the work will happen now. We've not determined yet whether or not we're going to be in the picture, but it's exciting. It's exciting.
We're waiting for the public to demand that we're part of this project. So we're going to essentially audition for you guys. Guess which character I want to be. No,
Titus Andronicus.
We're big fans of Michael Winslow, and
yes.
Does anyone remember our sketch McFerrin versus Winslow? Any deep cut
there's who
fans
the deep cut
house?
Fans who
it's like one of our favorite sketches we've done. We basically turned the kings of mouth noises into Wile E. Coyote and Roadrunner.
Yeah.
In this silent scene. So look that one up. McFerrin versus Winslow.
We're looking forward to it. I think now we're going to open it up to audience questions.
Audience questions.
Audience. It sounded like you said, we're now going to open it up to some obvious questions. Is what I just I can't wait to how we characterize an obvious question.
This may be an obvious question.
All right.
Is there anything Comedy Central won't let you do on the show? I mean, I'm thinking maybe not after practice on the Peach, but is there stuff that you've had to walk away from?
There's not. In fact, there's only like 2 things we've ever walked away from, and we walked away from them. And there was somebody at Comedy Central said, you should make that sketch and put it on the first episode. They're fearless. That's not ever the concern. Mm-hmm. Censorship or creativity, saying you can't go in that creative direction, not an issue at Comedy Central.
We've walked out of many meetings saying, you disgust us. Shame on you. You know,
reprobates.
It's a network with South Park on it, which is like the best pushing the envelope show, you know, of the last, I don't know, has it been how many years?
15 16 years,
now?
Yeah. They've set a bar. Yeah.
They set a bar, and one we're very we love that South Park is our lead-in. We think that South Park fans and Key and Peele fans should, and we hope they would have a lot of crossover, because we love going there. We love making people stand up and have to walk out of the room because we pushed the boundary too far. But yeah, no, we're unchained. We are unleashed.
Unfettered, yes.
Back here.
Me. First off, I want to say I shared your Esther and Devil skit on Facebook the other day, and my pastor liked it.
Yeah.
My pastor. It was crazy.
Thank you. See, your pastor gets it.
He liked it. It was
Pastor
crazy.
gets it.
We're kicking Satan's ass.
You are kicking Satan's
Well, by the way,
amen.
whether he likes it or not, that's the thing. If you laugh, then you have to. Because it was smart. You see, there was something going on. Yeah. So we.
So when you are like going into your characters, is there any type of research? Do you like go to a church, watch videos on YouTube? Like, what do you guys do to get into these different roles and characters?
Very often, the characters are autobiographical in some way, shape, or form. I'm just playing my aunt in that sketch, and I used to go to that church. So
I'm also playing Keegan's aunt.
In fact, he's actually doing a better job at playing my aunt than I am. So I think, but very often there's not a need for the kind of research I think we're thinking about when we think of the word research. It's more about if there's any research, it's what does my character want? Who am I and what do I want? Who am I and what do I want? And that should apply to everything an actor's doing all the time, whether it be drama or comedy. And I think that helps our work a lot of the time. But so many of our characters, especially me, a lot of my characters are people I cull from my lives, like the landlord. If you know the crazy landlord, that's a real dude. The landlord scenes are documentaries.
And I'm method, so when I come to work, I'll come in the morning and be like, "Hey, what's going on, Keegan?"
Seriously, Megan, I'm trying to eat breakfast.
I know. Don't talk to me like I'm an idiot,
I'm just
please.
asking, could you leave my trailer, please?
Excuse me, can you be respectful?
I'm naked in my trailer.
Excuse me.
And I'm being
The
disrespectful.
tone of your voice
What am I doing?
is, you know what you're doing.
I just want some privacy.
You know what you're
Just give me
doing.
some privacy.
Fine. I'll give you your privacy.
Get out of the trailer.
Why
Oh
are
no,
you
don't cry,
so
don't cry.
angry?
Don't cry. Don't cry.
Why? Well, yeah. They're coming.
That was funny. I wasn't me though. You said
me.
King, I wasn't
You
me.
had to. You
I
had
was
to
Andre.
respond as
Weird.
Andre, yeah.
So who do you know that's actually head injury cage guy
Oh,
from the new season?
Neck Brace Bradley.
Yeah.
Neck Brace Bradley. Neck Brace Bradley. Wait a minute, but that was written by Phil. Phil knew a guy, one of our writers.
Phil and Charlie.
And Charlie, yeah, Phil and
saw a guy in a bar.
That's it. They saw a guy in a bar in a neck brace and like, come on, brother.
That's all you need.
Do you need a drink that bad?
You don't.
What? So that one came from
I
somebody
think the
else.
first cut of that sketch was 47 minutes.
47 minutes long. The first cut of that sketch was a very long short film. Jeez, holy McCrackles.
I have a question. As you guys have achieved the perfect comedy parody, do you worry now that you're not getting enough attention for your individual projects?
No, I don't.
I've got this puppetry theater that I'm.
It's
If
gonna
I
blow
could-
up.
If I could just slip this in under. No, we're hoping that it works out for us in the end, I guess. I don't think we.
No, that's not an. I don't think that's an issue. I mean, we're doing what we find the time to do what we want. The first rule we ever made up when we hired our executive producers and before we even staffed the show, the first thing was if an opportunity comes up, you get to do it. If we have the time, you get to do it. And so that's what we've done.
Right.
When other projects have popped up.
And if offers flood in for some of us more than they do for others, we respect that. We have that boundary where you can do that. No, it's not true. We have equal success over here.
So related to that, I read that you guys actually met when you were pitted against each other for a role. Is that true? So how did your partnership come together?
It's how our partnership came together.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. This is kind of interpreted by the evolution of ways that I've put it in the past.
very
but
apocryphal.
honestly, when we were on Mad TV, there was a while I was like, I don't know if I'm going to get picked up next season.
It's just like when the writing's on the wall when there's 4 black people on a television show at the same time. Four black people on a television show, that's like a red shirt in Star Trek. I mean,
It is, yeah. You know somebody's not going to make it out of the season. So I did the smartest thing in the world, which was started writing scenes with Keegan so they couldn't get rid of me. And it worked.
we just wrote scenes together all the time and said, not only we're going to write a scene, then we're going to perform the scene in front of the producers. So we're not going to just read it. There's nothing open for interpretation. This is what it's going to look like. And we'd write scenes that we felt only we could do. And then that way, I mean, that's just job security in our line of work. So, you know what I mean? I need a biracial guy who's married to a woman who's 13 years older than him and has a stepson. You know what I mean? If I wrote that sitcom, nobody else gets to play that role. I get to play that role.
I think we had one more artist.
Is this on? Okay.
Pussy on the chain wax.
Pussy on the chain wax. Pussy on the chain wax.
When you put the pussy on the chain wax, what?
This is a great philosophical
So what is the
question about
end?
the pussy on the chain wax.
Yeah. Okay.
Metaphorical?
You're quite.
The question is about your writing room. So what does your writing room look like, and how'd you go about finding the people who were going to be in your writing room, and how did you choose like the chemistry that you would have, and what advice would you have for people who want to follow in their footsteps and be in a writing room and write comedy?
Well, a lot of the writers, just about, we hired one new writer this season who's amazing. His name's Phil Jackson. And a lot of our writers are really some of our best friends throughout the years. Rich Tallarico, Becky Drysdale, Colton Dunn, Charlie Sanders, Alex Rubens, and then Phil. And then Phil Jackson. The writing room looks like a bunch of idiots having fun for the most part, but we sit in a circle, and it's that process that Keegan described earlier. People have a little bit or a lot of the idea of what they want to do. We all talk about it. Everybody goes and writes their projects. I think the best advice I would have is just everybody on our staff just about has improv experience. And improvisation is an amazing training for the writer, because it's basically you're improvising slowly, and you get you're fortunate enough to pick the best possible line of all the hypotheticals you would throw out. So that would be my advice. Improv.
A ditto. Yeah, the big thing also is hiring your friends. Hiring a person who laughs at the same kind of stuff you laugh at. So then you end up with a unified voice.
And knows what you can do, knows, I think one of the great things about is what you're saying. Our writing staff knows how far we can push something. So they can really tee us up to, take something and run with it better than any stranger.
Well, thank you guys for joining us.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, guys.